everybody, welcome to Elisa's Art Room. Today we're starting a new junk journal, so this one is going to be interesting. We're going to do a true junk journal as it goes. That is a junk journal that you use you make it with only stuff out of the trash or recycling or used items that you're done with, things like that. So no like scrapbook paper pads or digitals or things that you purposely bought. Thank you for letting me know the sound is good, Dawn. I appreciate that. So we're going to get started on this in just a second. Just be aware there is a thunderstorm going on, so hopefully I won't get kicked. If that happens, I will post on my page just to let you know so you're not trying to find me. Hopefully it doesn't. Hey, Lori. Let me get you guys pulled up. Oh, I didn't say we are live on Facebook. If you are seeing the red button on the top left corner. If not, you're catching a replay. Sorry about the flip screen. That's a Facebook glitch right now. And once I pull it up top, that'll go away. So you'll see me the right way. See if I can find you guys. Hey, Deborah. All right, so today there will be some sewing, so just bear with me when I'm sewing, guys. It's kind of difficult to get the sewing machine up here and do it on camera. It's not real easy for y'all to see what I'm doing. There's just not a good way for me to do it with my setup, but I will do the best I can. There's no way around not sewing on this one. Well, you could glue it, but it's the material I'm using is kind of not great. So let me go ahead and pull this up so we can get started, and I'll show you what we're working with today, and we'll talk a little more. All right, 1 second. It's really coming down out there. Let's see. I don't really have a way to tell if it's straight. Oh, I guess I can use the grid here. Pretty straight. Okay, camera's the right direction. All right, so recycled, repurposed, reused junk journal. That is this theme. I'm calling it Rescued Trash. I tried to come up with a good name. Me and my daughter sat here and tried to think of names, and we couldn't, you know. A lot of them already have been taken, you know, like Trash to Treasure and things like that. And I didn't want to just redo something like that, so I went with Rescued Trash. So that's what we're calling this one. And I've got a few things here that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Amazon package because I have a billion of them. So this is the one I'm using. I've already cut it to size. It came from one of these, a PB2. These are the ones that are just basically paper. It's like 2 layers of paper on each side. There's no padding on these. I didn't want to get into doing the padding because I just got a bunch of other things I'm putting on it. So I'm not using the padding on that. Sometimes they do have the padding, and I use those a lot. It's the ones that have like that, it's like little foam pieces in there. So you can use those. They work fine. I use them all the time. If you don't have an Amazon bag, you could totally just use a paper bag. Just cut it to size and use that. I would probably use 2 layers of it just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. But either way is fine. So we're using that for our base. And then I've got this envelope that some papers I ordered. That vintage paper I ordered came in this. The Lazy Panda Card Company. And so I'm going to use this piece to cover the inside. It's not quite big enough, but I'm going to make it work. So I think I'm just going to keep it like it is, doubled. I didn't want to open it up because even if I open it up and go the other direction, then I've got the sticker and stuff, and I don't want to deal with that. So this is the cleanest side. And then I have a birdseed bag. So we buy these 40-pound bags of birdseed for our feeders. They're just black oil sunflower seeds. And I cut the picture out from the front of the bag. I'm not going to be able, obviously it's huge, but I can use it enough. So I'm going to cut it down. It's made of this, like, I don't know, woven plastic stuff. It's pretty sturdy. Sometimes the edges fray a little bit when you cut, the little pieces fall off, but it is sealed together, probably with heat or something, so it doesn't usually fray too much or, you know, drop off. It really needs, I think sewing is the best option for this type of a surface. You can glue it if you use like double stick tape or something. Regular glues will only work on this temporarily. After they dry, you can peel them right off. Even the Fabri-Tac, even the art glitter, it doesn't matter. Some of them say they'll work, but they don't. I've done tests, and after it dries, they will peel off. So usually on something like that, I would use a double stick tape or one of those, you know, roller types that are permanent. Those will hold. But we're going to sew it. So I got to cut this to size so it fits this. And I'm using my typical size. It's been snowing there, Deborah? Deborah says it's been snowing. Lori says it's cold and rainy. Yeah, it's yucky weather out there right now. Oh, you got snow too, Dawn? No snow here. It's cold, but it's not that cold. It's like, sorry, I lost y'all for a second. It's like, it's recently, but it's cold, but not cold enough for snow. I went ahead and separated this bag into two pieces because it typically works better for me. Plus, I think I'd cut it off of a bigger bag this time. And what I like to do is, these are typically 9 by 14. Is the size I do for most of my journals. And that gives me a 2-inch spine and then 6 inches on each side. So once it's together, I'll have a spine that's 2 inches and then 6 inches. Now, most of the time I use pages that are, 8.5 by 11 folded in half, so they fit perfectly in that setup. Now, for this one, who knows what I'll be using. It won't be typical pages mostly. Some maybe, and I've cut most of them down to that size, so, but it's a little bit different. So let's get started. So I think what I'm going to do, I found some ribbon. So this ribbon is from probably a small blanket, you know, those fuzzy blankets that they use for like college dorms and stuff. You see them all the time in Target. I'm pretty sure that's what this came from. So I saved it, and that's what I'm going to use for my ribbon. So I'm trying to, stick with stuff didn't buy. No, technically I bought it, but it would typically be thrown away or whatever. I don't know what people do with. I always save mine, but I don't know what people do with them typically. So that's where my ribbon's coming from. I'm going to turn this the other way. I don't think this is going to show through. Don't really care on this one, but we'll turn it inside out anyway. Don't think I'm going to put a pocket on the side on this one. When I do that, I have to think about that when I'm sewing everything together. So I don't think I'm going to, because of the way I think I'm going to have to fold it over on that one. And then, let's see. I've already got creases in here, so I'm trying to stick with them. Yeah, so something like that. Let's cut this to size. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So I'm just going to make it work and try to get as much of at least this bird as I can, because he'll be on the front. And I think I'm just going to put him like right there. And that's going to give me basically something like that on the front. I don't know if he'll show on the front or not. And then the cardinal will be on the back for the most part. So let's see. I think I'm just going to use a Sharpie or something to mark this. So I think I want them, I want to make sure I have his tail in there. I'd love to get a little bit of him, but I don't know if I can. We'll see. Maybe I can get a little bit of him in there. So I think if I do it about there, does it give me room on the other side? That's going to put me over the line. I don't really want that line showing, so I'm going to try to stay inside this line. I may just center it and lose him on the side. Let me see if he'll be on the side. He'll be exactly on the side, so that's not so bad. Let's do that. We're just going to kind of, I'm going to try to place it to where, try not to chop his head in half. Not that it's a big deal, but you know. Deciding how high I want it to be with this tail. I think about there. Yeah. I'm not going to cut the sides because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those yet, but I'm going to go ahead and cut these two. Yeah, I've still got the cardinal's feet. I'm just losing a little bit of the wing. That's good. I think that'll work. So, I'm going to slide this way just a fraction. Trying to get it as much in there as I can. Now, there are lines where this woven thing is. I don't know if they're the same as this black line. They might be. Kind of look like they are. So I'll try and stay on that kind of. Just trying to find it. It's hard to see in this light. So I'm going to try to stay on that line. Do I have some tape or something? See if I can stick in. I don't know if anything else stick to this, honestly. So I can keep it straight. Like I said, I'm just going to use this woven pattern. Let's see how straight that is. It should be relatively straight. This side doesn't look straight though. Actually, this weave looks straight. Interesting, but this weave does not look straight. So we won't stress about that then. Make sure I got his little head in there. Yep, his head's still in there. I'll lift that in a second when I mark it, but I just don't want it to move. I don't trust myself for it not to move. You know, I could just do this because I'm not going to cut that side right. All right, let's do that. All right, where's my marker? Yeah. I'm debating if I want it to hang off the edge at all. I don't think I do. Like I said, this is 9. My papers are only going to be 8.5. So there's plenty of room. Yeah, that's 9. And then this is 14. I can't do it with this ruler, but I know it's 14. So I think I'm just going to do it straight. Choose this one. Oh, that's not long enough. Where's that plastic one? Use this one. This is my older one. I don't care if I get Sharpie on it. see. Hold my head up there. Hopefully I'm not in camera. Ooh, it's slippery. You can always trim it if it hangs off too much. So go all the way to the edge. Hopefully it'll be somewhat straight. Okay. So this is me figuring it out as I go, because honestly I haven't done this before, so I do not know. I haven't done a junk journal, and I've not made a cover out of this type of material. I tend to like themes, so I love buying, you know, themed papers and stuff. So that's typically what I do. Now, this is going to be very eclectic as far as what's in it. But that said, a lot of my magazines, a lot of my calendars, a lot of things I'm pulling from are nature related. So it may end up looking very nature farmish overall, just because that's what I'm working with. So we're going to cut this out. Now I'm just going to sew it, so I'm going to leave it rough on the edge. I'm not going to fold it over or anything like that. If that bugs you, you could, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to let it do what it's going to do. Try to cut just inside that line so that I probably could have used my, you know what, I'll use my, I wonder if it'll cut. I'm going to use my blade. I don't know if it'll snag. And I don't think my rotary trimmer will cut through this. Let's see if it'll work. I could try it a little piece first. Let me just try a little piece and see how it acts. All right, it acts fine. That'll be fine. Yeah. All right, it's fine. Figure out where I was. There. So we'll use this so it'll be easier. Well, maybe the first part won't be easy. Got to get yourself started. Okay, there's that. That could be pockets if I wanted. Okay. So you see we get these little pieces, just a few, not too many's falling off. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's like heat sealed together, so I don't think it'll fray too much. They do stick to you though, static. All right, so that's that piece. I'll figure out the sides in just a second. So here's my dilemma. It's not a real dilemma, but a little dilemma. So I've got this material for the inside cover. Let me go ahead and mark this because I haven't marked it yet. So I always want to mark what the sides are. Oh, this side's padded. Put it inside. Oh, how strange. It only has like a little teeny bit of padding right here. And I don't think I cleaned it out. I'm just going to kind of roll some of that off. So I don't really want it on there. I don't want it showing on my edge. That's strange. Do I have two different pieces here? Oh, it is padded. It's totally a padded piece. It didn't feel like it. It feels really thin. It's a very thin padded piece. But I'm trying to get this white foam not to show, so I usually will kind of just roll off the edges. It separates very easily. And if you have your palette knife, you're careful. Don't go crazy because it will rip. I don't like that white foam showing on my edge. I don't know why. I just don't. At least not a lot. So I'm going to try to get some of that off. The other side's not showing, which is why I didn't think it had padding this time. Because some of the bags don't have padding, some of them do. But I seriously did not think this one did. So I was wrong. I don't know why. Can't feel this one. I must have glued that one, so I probably already pulled it off the foam and glued it together. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll go ahead and pull off the foam and then just run a bead of glue. Because if I do a pocket, it's in this part of it. It's not in there. So I'm just going to close this up just because you don't have to. I'll just keep it together for me. So let's just do that. All right, now I'm going to mark it. Get all this foam out of my way. So let me close that. I'm trying to make sure I keep. Yeah, that's good for the outside. Is that kind of cut right? Yeah, that's good enough. All right, so inside cover. I'm just going to use a chalk pencil if I can find it. It's here somewhere. It's getting so tiny. I need new chalk pencils, and I haven't been able to find any. I'm probably going to have to order them off Amazon. They're getting a little bit small. All right, what did I say? So, inside, no, right cover, inside, left top cover. Could have put bottom, but kind of new. And then arrows to tell me which direction. Now, you don't have to do all this writing. It keeps me organized, guys. And I can erase it. It's a chalk pencil. It's not a big deal. If it shows later, I could erase it, but I'm going to cover all this up. So that's my top. And then if I was going to do a pocket here, I would say pocket, but I'm not doing a pocket here. I am, however, going to put the ribbon here. So we're going to say ribbon. And the ribbon is going to go this way, somewhere in the middle. I'm going to figure out where the middle is. And it'll go all the way across. Okay. And then this is my front. So front cover, back cover. This just keeps me straight when I'm sewing, stuff like that. Up. All right. And a center mark can be handy just for doing your ribbon and stuff like that, for centering it. Just try to keep these together when I fold it. That can be tricky. They want to separate. Just gonna make a tiny little indent there, so I can see about where that middle is, and then I'll just use my grid. Looks like about there. Which should be right because it's on my 2-inch mark. So just a little mark for my center. And I think that's all the marks I need. Oh, I was going to do a half mark there. There's that plastic one that's easier to work with. So this is 9, so 4.5. I need it where the ribbon is. That just helps me get the ribbon centered. 4.5. And 4.5. have to be as, you know, perfect as I am, as far as I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I know it. It's just how I am. You don't have to be that way. You can be, you know, a little more. All my rulers are falling. Sorry. I've got them stacked in a pile of like 10 rulers. Boy, that poor pencil. All right. Anyway. So let's go ahead and put the ribbon on because I don't want to forget. And then I think I'm going to leave this for pockets up top. I think. Let's put the ribbon on though. So the ribbon, I don't need this much. Think about how much I need for tying. I think. I never know how much I need for overhang. I should figure out an exact measurement, shouldn't I? I bet it's about 10 inches though. Maybe 8. It's not like I'll probably have much of this left anyway. I'm gonna look at one of my other ones that are sitting here and see how much I have for those. This last one I did has this much, which is 11 inches, so, and it's got a lot, so 10's probably fine. So if I do 10 inches, let that hang off the end, come across like that, and I'll trim that one at 10 inches. So I'm just going to glue this on with some Fabri-Tac. As long as you have enough for tying, that's really all that matters. I might leave it, I might go 11. I'm going to do a little more. I'd rather have too much than not enough. But that last journal was super, super thick, so I'm guessing where this is. In the middle, I didn't draw a line across that, but I think I know. You don't have to glue a whole lot because it's going to have everything sandwiched in there, so. The only part you might consider is if it's going to hit when you do your pocket. So I'm going to glue it better, at least on the top. Make sure that's pretty flush. It might be an issue with this thick ribbon on there. I don't know, because typically I cover this with paper. I hadn't planned on covering it with paper because I'm trying not to use paper. I mean, I guess I could cover it with some sort of a scrap. I just don't want things to snag. Like if we're using that pocket for, say, our writing board, and we're going to put it in there, it might catch it. So maybe I should cover it. What could I cover it with? Good question. I don't have enough of that polka dot paper. What do I have? I have lots of coloring book pages and lots of old calendar pages. I think I'll go with the coloring book if I can find it. It's floating around here somewhere. I don't think I put it up. Where'd you sit it? I have 2 piles of junk. Lot of junk. Did you set it in there? No. Did I set it in here? No. I also have map pages that would work too. Oh, come on, where is it? Oh, I see it. It was hiding very well. Okay, we'll just use some of this. This is an old calendar coloring book from 2017 that I literally did not use. I bought it somewhere on clearance and I thought, oh, maybe I'll color. You know what, guys? I don't like to color. I kind of found that out. I really don't like to color. I don't know why. You won't see most of this unless you really peek in there, but I'm just going to pick a couple of somewhat plain pages. One of the plainer designs, probably. Like this. Just because I'd rather cover that ribbon up. If there's any, sometimes there's two. I've noticed. Let's see if there's maybe two of those. But you can see I didn't use this at all. I literally did nothing with it. I could use that flower. Okay, I don't see two of those. Alright, let's go with just this. Doesn't matter if they're the same. Now, I don't have to have two pockets on top. I could just have one, but you know, it's there. It's just as easy to do the two as it is the one, so that should fit mostly. It only has to cover, if I put it this way, it'll fit mostly. It only has to cover this little area here, just so we're not snagging on that. So I'll cut that out. Looks like it's almost, it's pretty much exact for this way. And then we need, it should be logically 6 inches, so a little less, so we'll say 5.5. So let's cut that at 5.5 by 8 3/4 maybe. So we'll just go with whatever this is, which is probably close to 8 3/4. That for our lines. So if you're using things like this, from what my understanding is, you don't need to worry about the copyright as long as you're using the actual item. Okay, I bought this. It's mine. I can do with it as I please. I'm not copying it. I'm not copying it and reproducing it. Okay, so as long as you're using the actual item, you should be fine. But don't go copying it and being like, oh, I really like this, I'm going to save the image and make a bunch of them. No, that's breaking the rules. Don't do that. So this is going to be 5 and, what did I say, 5.5-ish. I think. Where's my ruler? Yeah, that's fine. We're going to have sewing and stuff in there. I don't really care if it's in the sewing. I'm going to glue it down, so. Let's start here. And we'll do like 5.5-ish. I'll do, that could be a pocket or something. I think this will be good for, you can coffee dye these if you want, to make them more interesting. Obviously did not on these. I do have some I've coffee dyed. I've also dyed some with different colored inks. Oops, I knew that was going to be an issue. Go that way. And, but you know, they take inks and dyes very well. And most of these are nice and thick, if you have any old ones. And 5.5-ish. Now you can use PVA glue, you can use art glitter glue, Fabri-Tac. Even that roll-on tape for this doesn't really matter. Since I don't want to wait a long time for it to dry, I'm not going to use the PVA because it would take forever to dry. I'm also going to, well, I'm going to probably put art glitter on this top edge at least. And then maybe, I don't know if I want to use Fabri-Tac. I think I'm just going to go with art glitter. I think I can get it down in time, not have to worry about it. So I'm just going to kind of start it at the top edge, so it's pretty much right at the top edge. I'm not worried about the bottom edge. And then I will actually be sewing through this too. So I'm not going to put my glue, I'm going to sew through this piece. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna sew it. All right, so I still need to trim that ribbon. Let me just do that before I forget. What did I say, 11 inches? Let's just go ahead and do this real quick so I don't forget. Just trim it there. And that gives me some left for something. All right, so if I was doing the side pocket, I would do this part and this part, okay? And that would be a side pocket, but since I'm doing the top, I'm not going to bother with this side. Should I just do one pocket? Then I could just close off the other one. Nah, we'll just do one side. The other side can be paper bag. I don't guess it matters. I really only was worried about this because of the ribbon, so we're just not going to cover the other side. We're just going to do this. Look at all that nice writing in space. That kind of sucks. Oh well. I'm half tempted not to use that one. Save it for somewhere else as a card, but oh well. We'll take it. I know I've got like 4 pages of this already, so. Alright, art glitter it is. Let's see. I'm going to use my bigger opener bottle of art glitter. So I've got one that's got the full size nozzle, and then I've got one that's got the tiny little nozzle. I'm going to go with the full size because, alright, I got to do something about these rulers. Stop that. It just goes on faster and easier. So I'm going to put it on this. Well, maybe it goes on if it didn't plug up on me. Pen. Where's a pen I can use real quick? I'm just going to steal the other art glitter pen. I don't know why this one always plugs up a little bit. You wouldn't think it would because it's the bigger nozzle, but it does. Alright, so I'm mostly concerned... Oh, come on. Alright, let me find my bigger pen. Get out of there, glue. That's just a floral wire stuck in a cork. Works very well for clearing these things. So I want to make sure that top's decent. And it should dry before I get to sewing it because this dries pretty fast. Otherwise, I would suggest letting it dry before you sew over it so it's not gumming up your sewing machine, ideally. So we're just going to throw this on. So that's my top. I'm just going to kind of, I'm staying on the inside of that spine and trying to get as flush to that top as I can. So there's that piece. Like I said, it should dry fast. I don't know if this has it up or down. No. Okay. Now I probably could just tack down the middle and not worry about the edges at all since I am sewing it, but I didn't. So it is what it is, right? It's mostly just for functionality anyway. Alright, let's see if I can get this lined up. I have like a crease there, so I know where the spine is. There we go. That's good. Now, if you want to ink it or anything, make it pretty, feel free. We could throw some ink on just the top. Why not? Don't have to, but why not? Throw a little bit on there because it'll be harder to ink after. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw a little bit on there, a little bit on there, and you know what? I'll throw a little bit on here too. Part that will show on the inside there. just where the pocket's going to show. It's flimsy. Easier said than done. Right there. Okay, so that is our inside. So we are at this point here. Okay. Now, what we want to do is, so this piece and this piece will be sewed separately because we can't sew them together. So that's the first thing we have to sew. So this is ready to sew. This is not, so I got to get that paper ready. So here's what my dilemma was. So this almost fits. It's just leaving this little bitty triangle right there and right there. There's a teeny bit showing. So my thought was, and it fits pretty much exact the other way because it's 9 inches. My thought was that this, depending on where I center it and cut it, because I got to cut it, I could fold it around and cover that up and then sew it. I just don't know if I want to fold it around. It would cover that. So I'm kind of leaning toward doing that. But I have to trim it first exactly where I need it. So it needs to fold around. It looks like about 1/2 inch. It does have these 2 little marks here that would probably be best if they were centered. Let me go ahead and trim this a bit. What was that, 14? Let me clean these edges of this off real quick. So we need it 14, which should be about 1 inch on each side-ish. Looks like 3/4 of an inch on each side of this. Just double check. Do it to 14. Yeah. Okay, so marker, pen, something, pencil. So I'm going to cut this. It's mostly this side, it looks like. This has a bigger piece. I think I'm doing it right. Cut that there. And that's just a little bit off of that side. I'm going to use my grid because I can't slide this through my cutter because it's very, it's torn and falling apart. So I'm just going to put it on the grid and try to do a straight line. Hopefully I'll get it somewhat straight. Okay. Turn around. So just picking a line. Do this line. There. A lot of this side will be covered because of the bag wrapping around. All right. You know, like I said, I think I'm just going to leave this whole piece. I don't know. I could cut it. I don't need the whole piece. It's thick enough, I don't think it'll show through anything. You know what? I'll cut it. That way I can keep that bit there for something else. Let's not waste stuff. All right, so I think I can just trim, seeing how much I have, It's right to the edge, so if I just cut along that line carefully, it should be fine. I'm just debating if I want to try to do that. I trust myself more to, I'm going to fold this over just a teeny bit. And then I'm going to lay that down and cut along that line. Where'd my ruler go? There it is. If I can see the line. Yeah. I know it looks crooked. It's just because my fold's crooked. Alright, so there's that side. And this side's now open. Just cutting on the crease of the actual envelope. And then that'll save me that piece for something. I mean, I could probably just piece it in, but I don't think that'll look very good, so I'm not going to do it. You know, I could take some pieces off of my cut and just use them to continue that out instead of wrapping the bag. I mean, I could, but I think it'll be cleaner because it's got all this weird stuff. Let's just wrap it. The only thing I might run into an issue with, because I'm going to try to get these black lines to fold exactly right, I might run into my bird in the middle not being where I want them exactly, but I think I'd rather have it fold around even. So if I cut, well, the line won't show if I cut right there. That still gives me a good 1/4 inch, but the line will show on the other side. All right. See if we can get both lines not to show, then we'll be good. I'm going to try to get his little head in there. I'm trying. So this side I'll cut, looks like about 1/8 inch off of it. Should I fold it or not fold it? I should fold it. See, that doesn't work. I'm making this so much more complicated than I need to, probably. All right, I'm going to center it because I'm going to fold it over, and I just want it to look the same. I don't know why. It's me. I can't do it. I can't not have it look the same. So I think I'll cut just on the outside of that white. I don't think I'm going to leave the orange because that's a lot folding over. I don't know that I want that much folding over. Let's see. Where does this go? This goes back cover, front cover. Where's my writing? Inside, back cover. This goes here. So it goes like, that's still too long. Why is it too long? What? It's a little long. It's not much. All right. Either I cut it weird or something. I don't know. Hold on. Just going to figure this out real quick. So this is going to go on like that. Is it to the edge? It's off of there. Just, you know what? I'll glue it and then I'll trim it because obviously something's not square. So we're just going to glue this down and then we'll trim it and figure that out. All right. I don't know what's not square, but something's not square. So this is my inside cover, which is where this is going. I guess I should do the whole thing at once, which really means I should do PVA. It just gives me a longer drying time. I don't trust having that short of a drying time for this art glitter. It'll definitely be an issue. Fabri-Tac even, probably be an issue. But my PVA dries pretty slow. I think I'm going to brush on PVA. All right. Do I want to use this one or just the whole bottle? Let's use the whole bottle. This is my Sugar Bell, and it's this, but it comes out faster in this. And then, should I use a brush? It'll be faster. or a spreader. A spreader. It's going to be messy. Let me get something down. What do I got? Cardboard. To have a cereal box liner. So cereal box liners are great for covering up your space. If you don't want to get stuff everywhere. I keep these off of my cereal. So we'll just put that there. All right. Let's go for it. I'll lose all my writing, but hopefully I know what I'm doing. I'll have to wait for it to dry, but hopefully by the time I figure everything else out, it'll be dry enough. Maybe I'm just going to not go too close to the edge. How's that? That way if it's not dry, it won't gum up my... So we're just not going to go super close to the edge. I got too much, didn't I? Spread it a little bit better. I'd prefer it to lay relatively flat, so that looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna lay that. I'll lay it right there, and hopefully it won't get on nothing. I'm gonna try and get this on here even. I'll turn it this way. I shouldn't get any glue anywhere. All right, so let's start at this top edge. That's the top, right? Yeah. Let's see if I can at least line that edge up. If I line that edge up, it should match pretty good. Close enough. All right, I'm going to use a different one of those. I've got a bunch of these. You could also do a bone folder. Okay, there. So it only shows just a teeny little bit there. I've got a little bit off on the bottom, but I'm really not overlapped on the top, so it just wasn't quite that big. It was close, very close. Okay, let's see, where's my rags? Oh, we'll use a wet wipe. I want to wipe that nozzle before I put the tip back on it. So if you're looking for any of these glues I'm using, they are on my favorites list for Amazon. You can find that in the description of my page. And I'm not affiliated. I just give it to y'all for, convenience sake. All right, so that's the inside cover. I'll get confused. So that, yeah. Okay. And then these will be pockets. So, do I need to worry about? No. Okay. I don't need to worry about it. Sometimes I double sew over these ribbons, but I'm going to, when I sew it down, I'll worry about it then. All right. So here was what I wanted to do. Figure out where this is going to hit on that. Oh, I've got the ribbon there. What? Never mind. I mean, I suppose I could put a hole in it. I forgot about the ribbon. Ooh. Okay. Well, scratch that. We are not going to fold over unless I put a hole in it. I could put a hole in it for the ribbon. Yes, I could do that. Yeah, I forgot about the ribbon being there. Oh, no. Yes? No. No, the ribbon's not. See? Girl, you're confusing yourself. This piece isn't even going to be on there yet. Go away, piece. This piece is on there. I'm confusing myself. Ugh. Okay. So I won't have a ribbon. I wondered why I didn't think about that. Okay. So that'll go like that. And then this will go like that. No. I'm backwards. Does that say front cover? It doesn't. Oh, I'm so confused. What are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. This is the back. This is this. That's the front. The ribbon is there. Oh, it totally is. So it's not even on this piece. Except if I sew them together after. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll put a hole. I guess I could put a hole. All right. I'm just going to put a hole. Because what I want to happen is I really wanted, when this is on here, I really wanted it to come around. But my ribbon's there. But if I put a little hole there for the ribbon to come through, I can still sew it on there. Let's just do that. Okay, we'll do that. So let's go ahead and mark where the hole needs to be. So I'm going to line this all up with how much I want it's going to fold over. I'm just going to let the orange stay. I might trim this one a little because it's extra long for some reason. I'll at least make them the same. So the ribbon, make sure everything's lined up. The ribbon hole needs to be right there. Sometimes you just got to figure it out as you go, right? All right, so ribbon hole there. Just a little spot for that to come through. And a ribbon hole here. All right, this is going to work. I'm going to get it and make it look pretty because I want it to look pretty. Okay, and then because I'm doing the pocket, I need to sew those tops first. All right, I'm going to trim this first because I wanted to trim this. Let me do that. I just don't want to get confused. All right. Let's trim this. It looks like it's about 1/4 of an inch on that side. It's exactly a centimeter, so we'll just take a centimeter off of this side. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, I'm going to be perfect. I don't know why. It's not much, just a little bit off of this side. Plus it's kind of raggedy over there, so it'll even it up. Make it look pretty. All right, let's trim that. Okay, I'll do the same. Okay, so the first thing I got to do, put it together, make sure I have them in the right direction. Okay, it's the right direction. Is that the right direction? I don't have arrows anymore on the inside. All right. It doesn't particularly matter, really, at this point, but I think it's the right direction. Okay. Here, we'll just put arrows while I can see it. Up, up. There. All right. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and sew along this. It's not absolutely necessary because I did glue it pretty good, but it'll look more cohesive. I'm thinking, when I come around, will it interfere with the wrapping, or will I be able to sew it? It might bring the pocket in. I think if I have it here, and I'm sewing down here, wow, that's a lot extra. I might glue that. I'm not going to sew all the way over here. Maybe I should take I don't want to take the orange off. It won't cover enough. I'll just glue it before I sew it, just on this orange part. I don't think I want to try to sew it there. I could sew it before I put it together. It's a lot of sewing. I need to trim that while I'm thinking of it because it's really crooked on that edge. Let's just go ahead and trim that off. What time is it? Oh my goodness. This is going to be a long one. Let go. It's just a little complicated because, like I said, it's me figuring it out as I go, so it can be more complicated for sure. Okay. I'm not sure how that's going to work. This goes like this. I think I'll try sewing it straight across where the top is and sew this straight. So let me put a clip there. Not that I really need it, but I want to sew there. Little clips. I don't want that big old clip. Okay, that one's on the floor now. We'll use these. All right, we're going to sew there. And we're going to sew here. I'll pick that up before I step on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut these little holes for the ribbon. I don't know if I'm going to feed them through just yet. I just got to remember to feed them through before I sew it. Otherwise, I'll be having issues. Okay, so sew that. I could probably go ahead and feed it through for sewing that top piece on, right? Yeah. Logically. Pocket. Yeah. Okay, I can do that. I got to get the sewing machine. It's going to be challenging. So none of this gets glued. I could glue this middle section. I'm not gonna, because honestly, I think it'll interfere with sewing in the signatures later. So I'm just gonna hope it stays together and be fine. Hopefully. But I am gonna pull this ribbon through before we sew that top piece on. I don't want to forget to do it. And then I'll go ahead and glue that. And then if I do that and I sew across, it's going to seal that pocket. So I don't want to sew. No, it won't seal the pocket because it'll be on the outside of the pocket at that point. Okay, I can do that. Okay, good. Whew. That's so much your brain has to figure out. Does that feel right? I hope it's right. Alright, I'm going to put this through this little hole if I can get it in there. In there. Get there. Okay. Alright, make sure that is folded. Why does it feel so loose now? It feels very loose. I don't know if I got the fold in the right spot. It does, I think it might move when it's bent. So maybe I'll keep it a little loose. Sometimes when you secure it and then you fold it, it moves on you a little bit. So, I don't know. For some reason my fold does not seem very perfect. I thought it was when I did it a second ago. But now it seems further out. You know what, I'm going to tighten it up just a fraction. For whatever reason, I'm off by a quarter of an inch. Not a quarter, but like maybe an eighth. All right, increase that again. There. Okay. So logically, yeah, I should be able to sew all the way across. It should be fine. Okay. Goodness gracious, guys. So I'm gonna make sure this matches up. I'm gonna sew all the way across, but I'm gonna glue that first. Sew this area. Sew this area. I will clip this bottom, but I'm not gonna sew the bottom. There's no need to. I only need to sew that on the outside. You don't need it to be sewed yet. And then for this, I am going to run a little bit of that double stick tape there, just to hold that down. And it won't be where my sewing will be, I don't think. It should be safe. I'm debating if I want to use the roller or my double stick tape thingy. I might could use the roller. Let's try to use the roller. We'll use this Tombow roller. I'm going to do it on this part because I don't, if I can see which side's which. Gosh, it's so hard to hit it in the right spot. I think I can hit it in the right spot and not get it all over my table. I'm trying. Okay, so make sure that that looks even. I'm just double checking my bag. It's not crooked or anything. Okay, and then pull that snug to the edge there. I hope I'm doing this right. It's so nerve-wracking sometimes when you're not sure. All right, that looks good. Let's do this one. Let me just turn it because I can't go that direction. Oh my gosh, there's too much stuff in my way. All right, right way. Just orange part. Rolling off any glue. All right, make sure my ribbon's out there. Up. Okay, good. Okay. So that's the top. Got my arrow there now. But I got to keep it in mind because I only want to sew the top. I don't want to sew the bottom. So I'll get a few more clips out. Put this up. This is just in the way. A few more clips. Chalk pencil. Find that longer chalk pencil. It's a little bit longer. My arrow is fairly visible. All right, so sew this side. I mean, considering I have that glued now, it'll probably stay together pretty good. And then this one, we want to sew this side. I'm just going to put one there. All that's going to do is just seal both those edges for the pocket. That's all it's going to do, okay? So we're going to do that sewing. Let me grab everything out of my way so I can get my sewing machine up here, which is always a challenge. So bear with me. Hopefully I can do it. Oh my gosh, too much stuff on my desk. Too much stuff. I'll probably have to remove this piece of wood. Said it's not the best setup for pulling the sewing machine up here. things out of the way. Well, hello, Marilyn. I haven't seen you in a while. Okay. So dirty under there. Okay, sewing machine. So, like I said, bear with me. It's going to be in the middle of the screen, probably. But we're going to make it work. Just got to get it plugged in. If I can get my cord on right. Let go. Too many cords. One of these days I'll have everything cordless, right? I need one of those little mini sewing machines. That's what I need. Okay. So here's what we're doing. Just sewing those tops like I showed you first. And then we'll put it together. So just this top edge. I don't think I even need these clips on there because, like I said, since I glued that, it's staying together good. I've just got some black thread in here. I think it'll be fine. And it should sew through this okay. I don't think I'm going to have any issue. I do want to sew the pretty on the outside, though. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use a straight stitch. Just my top edge. Ooh. All right, Thunder. Stay away from me. I don't like storms. I'm just sewing right on that edge, like an eighth of an inch. Seam allowance, shall we call it? Hopefully it won't buckle. Hitting stuff. Should be good for that side. Alright, so we got our sewing on that side. Alright, and then we'll sew this other piece on the top. Well, this is already glued on there. This is more just for looks than anything. What's my back cover? I'm confused. All right, on this one I'm going to sew on this side, I think. I'm very confused right now. I folded that over already. I'm going to have to unfold that. How am I going to do? Oh, I didn't do that right. Y'all know what I did, don't you? I wonder if that'll come off. Hold on. Totally did that. All right. I didn't do it right. Let me undo just the edges. Luckily it's not, this double stick tape isn't crazy stuck yet. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I was thinking because it has to wrap around the whole thing, not just this piece. So yeah, I was confusing myself again. I seem to be doing that a lot with this one because I'm trying to cover up that. Goodness gracious. I'm going to have glue that has to be rolled off. Luckily this rolls off real easy. That Tombow adhesive, it rolled right off of there. So that's good. Good thing I chose that glue. Saving me. Glue all over the place because I'm just rolling it onto the floor. All right, no glue, no glue. Okay. Now I'm just going to tack this top where I messed it up. Should I go from the front? I guess I should. I guess I should go from the front so it matches better. I'll explain what I did in a second, if you don't know. I messed up is what I did. It's not a big deal, but could have been. If that glue hadn't come off, it would have been. It would have been a lot more challenging to figure out how to fix it. But luckily, the glue came off. You know what? It happens. A lot. Mistakes get made. Okay. Now that one's right. Now this one, we'll just go ahead and sew just for looks. Where's the top? There it is. Okay. I'll do same spot, approximately 1/8 of an inch. Just scooch that. Okay. See what we got. You'll understand what I did in just a second. Okay, so I can't glue that to that because the idea was that it wrapped around. But I did want to secure these two edges for the pocket. So that's what was confusing me. So now that I've secured those two edges, I can put this on. At least want to make sure that top's relatively flush. Line it up, and now this can be glued down. It's still got the glue on that side somewhat. I'll see how much it sticks. I can always lift it and add more if I need to later. But for now, I think it's fine. Now it's covering up those two spots that I wanted it to cover up. And it's not sealing my pocket area right there. Okay. That's what I was trying to avoid, sealing that spot. Okay. I did it. So now we have this piece like that. And we just got to sew, not here, but sew around the rest of it. Okay. And usually I double sew where the ribbon is just so it doesn't pull any, but honestly it's in there really good. I probably don't need to double sew. I probably don't even need to clip this because it is seeming like it's in there really good. I'll clip it a little bit. So I'm going to start here where my pocket is. You can put yourself a note if you think you might forget to stop and not sew that, because I have sewed all the way around and forgot. It happens. So you can put yourself a little note that says stop. Stop. You don't want to sew that closed or you won't have a pocket. Not the end of the world, but you won't have a pocket and you'd have to undo the seams and all that, and it's pain. I've done it. Trust me, it's pain. Okay, so we're going to sew around the rest of it. And I'm going to do it from the front so it looks pretty. Let me figure out where to set this guy. Y'all still with me? quiet, but here I think. Okay, so we're just going to start here. Make sure everything looks good. I think it's good. I'm going to stick with that like 1/8 of an inch. Get to my ribbon, just make sure that I'm catching it right. You can do one back stitch there, it doesn't hurt. When I get to the end here, I'm just going to leave my needle down. So just go to where you're about where you need to be, leave your needle down. And then turn with your needle down. You lift your foot, but leave the needle in and turn. Get your ribbon out of the way. It's buckling on me a little. Try to keep it snug. Dealing with all kinds of weird materials here. And can buckle. Try not to worry about it too much. Okay, needle down, turn, hold my ribbon. Backspace over the ribbon. Okay. There we go. Double check, make sure it looks like it's sewed in. Don't think I missed anything. All right, looks okay. My sewing stitches aren't great, but it's okay. All right, let me pull the sewing machine out of my way. Stuff in my way. Got pencil cases and all kinds of stuff. Make sure my mic's back on me. Here comes the rain again. I can hear it. We got flood warnings too. Our area's pretty good though. I don't think it floods too much right where we are. Okay. Let's see what we got. Looks decent, guys. Considering this is all junk, it's kind of pretty, huh? Alright, so there we go. So that is our cover. It has a pocket on the front, pocket on the back. A little bit buckly, but probably once I get everything in there, it'll be fine. If I were really worried about it, I'd probably sew right there, or maybe just glue it if I want it to stay where it's supposed to be. I don't know why it's buckling so much. I probably didn't get it quite flush. Like it looks flush when it's laying down, but when it's folding, it might be all right. I think I'm going to glue the spine to help these pockets kind of stay where they need to be. Let's see if that works. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just at the top. I don't think I'll go all the way in. I might put a little just to kind of tack it. Because when I have it like this, they seem pretty flush. Doesn't look like there's extra. Let's just throw a little bit of should I use fabric tack or should I use art glitter? We'll use art glitter. Not this one, we'll use the thin one. Okay. So I'm going to tack this middle. Just kind of help hold it in place. Not so much that it'll interfere with me sewing the signatures, hopefully. And then tack this top. And make sure that it's exactly where I want it. I think if that's held together, it'll be a little less likely to pucker like that. A little bit better. That's a little bit better. You can definitely see those pockets. I haven't done a top pocket in a while. Should be all right. Once it's filled and out further, I think it'll make a difference too. The top pockets are nice, but they don't pocket, but side pocket, because I was going to wrap it, I didn't think I could do it, so I didn't think that would work. Let me grab a, I don't think that writing card will fit. Let me see if I have a writing board here. I have the coffee one. If I can find it. Let's see how big it is. Okay. Just pick it up because it opens when it's up. It might fit. All right, that's not too bad. All right, I might still be able to fit a full-size writing board in there. That's good. All right, I'm happy with that. Nobody's bought that coffee journal yet, guys. It's still for sale. If y'all want it, grab it before it goes. All right, what do we got? Let's see, what time is it? 10:30. Ooh. It's pretty. I love this bag. I mean, who would have thunk? Turn a bag like that into a cover. Isn't that pretty? I think that makes a pretty junk journal. All junk. And even these colors matched this pretty well, which was just luck. So I might add pockets, I might not. Since I have these pockets, it's not as big of a deal, but I might. Well, it depends if I see something that I think works. We could go ahead and put the eyelet in there for the charm. I don't know why that's buckling so much. One's flat. I think it's just because this material is so much stiffer than what I normally use. I'm noticing it more. That's my guess. All right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put the eyelet in there. So I always put an eyelet for the charm dangle. I don't know what kind of charm I'm going to hang on it. It may be something very simple, but I'll probably put one. I think I'll put one. It's harder because I'm trying not to buy anything. I mean, I could go buy a bird charm dangle, but that would be breaking the rules. So I have to try to make something. can see where the center is. So I'm just gonna give it a little squeeze right there. And then grab my marker so I don't lose it. Alright, so I'm gonna put me a eyelet there. With my crocodile. Tools are allowed. Brads, tools, scissors, all that stuff's allowed. Just not purchase, you know, papers and ephemera and stuff like that. And that's just my rules. I don't know, you know, if there's real rules for a true junk journal. But in my opinion, a junk journal is what y'all make it. I mean, it doesn't have to be all junk. Most of my junk journals are 20 to 30% junk, I would say on average. I use as much as I can, but I like the pretty papers. It's as simple as that. I like the pretty papers, so that's what I want to use. And it's about me being happy. I'm debating which color. I'll go with this darker color. It's kind of like a antique black. But I decided to try to do one that is more true to what a junk journal originally started out as. And that was people either in like a depression time when they just didn't have money or supplies, you know, before scrapbooking paper stores and, you know, Tim Holtz and stuff was around, you used what you had. And that typically meant, you know, vintage stuff. Could be vintage receipts, could be, you know, vintage postcards. Back in the day of, you know, 1800s, it might have been calling cards or things like that. Old photos. You know, junk journaling has changed a lot. You know, it's morphed into what it is today, which for most people is, you know, kind of a combination between junk journaling and scrapbooking. Sometimes more art journaling, sometimes more, you know, a regular journal, but it just depends. So I'm just using my crocodile. I'm getting somewhat close to the top, but I'm going to try not to break that thread because my papers are going to come really close there, and I try to put the eyelet where it won't hit my middle signature. So just above that dot, I think right there. But, you know, in my opinion, I think that you should just do what you want and have fun. That's what it's all about. You know, don't get so stressed out about it. Really didn't crimp down very well. That you're all hung up on, is it really a junk journal or not? You know, I hate when they don't crimp right. It's very annoying. It's like, it's a little bit sharp. Just gonna knock those edges in a little. So I've found if it ends up really sharp and it spreads up weird, which happens sometimes, not a lot, but it does happen. If you take a little bit of glossy accents, and that's a Tim Holtz thing. It's kind of like resin. It's like self-drying resin that dries by air. If you take just a little bit of this and put it, I won't do it right now, but put it just on the edge where it's sharp, it'll cover that up and it won't be sharp once it dries. It does take a while to start drying. I think I usually let things that I cover with this dry for 2 or 3 hours. I've been doing that with my little pull tabs, because I've been saving my pull tabs for this journal. And you know how sometimes when you pull them off, the spot where you pulled it off is a little sharp, and hammering it down wasn't doing it, so I stuck some glossy accents over that area. And when it's dry, you can't see it or anything, but it covers it up and it's not sharp anymore. So I'll do something with these. They're cute because they're Red Bulls. And they got the little, yeah, it's got the little bull in there. So we'll use some of these. I drink one every morning, so I can have a bunch of them. I hadn't been saving them, though, because I hadn't really thought about it. And then the other day, I was like, hey, I need to save these. I can use them for dangles or little latches or, you know, who knows what. I'll find something to use them for. When you do use your glossy accents, always tap it down, put a little pin in it, and then close it up, because it does tend to plug up easy. All right, guys, I'm just going to, I guess, well, we'll talk about some of the stuff I have, because I still have like 20 minutes, but I don't have time to really do a lot. Pages and stuff, we're going to kind of loosely go over some of the pages and stuff and stuff I've gathered. So let's just grab that. This is going to be pretty, I think. I like it. All I got to do is make the inside as pretty as the outside, right? All right. So look at this pretty stamp we got today in the mail. It says Lunar New Year. So of course I saved it. So I have so much stuff. So much stuff. But we'll show you a little bit of it. Okay. Let me pull this over here. This ink and tape, I don't need it out here. So it could be scraps of material that you have. This was a handkerchief that I'd used to make Dave a mask back in the masking times. And I still have some of it left. So, you know, I might make a fabric tuck or something. Bags from gifts. They can make pockets or things like that. Or you can cut it apart and just use the material, you know, in another way. All kinds of wrappers. Some I've already sewed. I did a lot of sewing because I don't want y'all to be tortured with me pulling that sewing machine out all the time. So some, I've done a little bit of prepping. I'm just gonna, I don't know where to put stuff. All right, I'll put it there. All right, here. So this is off that same sunflower seed bag. So I just sewed it onto a couple of pieces of Amazon packaging. They will end up being pockets or something. This is a lemon wrapper from Candy. So I sewed it onto some Amazon packaging. It's going to be a pocket. It might end up, I don't know what these are going to be yet. I just wanted to get them sewed so we didn't have to worry about that. It might be a flip. It might be a double pocket, a tuck. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. Here's another one. This is some Vidalia sweet onions. I left this part loose because maybe it'll be a tuck in there and a pocket in the back. This is a piece of cardboard. Okay, so save cardboard and you can take it apart by wetting it. Okay, so don't try to tear it. If you want to tear it, you're going to get a rough tear. It won't look like that. But if you take your piece of corrugated cardboard and you put it in water, so if you take it and take it to the sink, don't try to do it like this, but take it to the sink and run it under the water in the sink. Okay, and what happens is it breaks that glue. It gets in those channels. It works best. But it starts breaking up that glue, and then once the glue is broke up, I don't know if I can do it enough like this. I always do it in the sink. It takes a lot of water, that's why I do it in the sink. But once it does, what will happen is it'll separate. Okay, and it'll separate much better than it is right here. I'm trying to kind of loosely show you. Okay, and when it does, you'll have a piece on this side, and then you'll have the corrugation in the middle, and then you'll have another piece on the other side. Okay, and then you take those and you just lay them flat to dry, and they end up being pieces like this that you can use for tags and such. That's the easiest way to separate this corrugated cardboard. If you try to just tear it, what'll happen is you'll have little bits and you'll be fussing with it for forever. Now sometimes you want those little bits and you want to have that and use it like that, and that's fine too. But if you're wanting just to use the piece of it, like when I made those Bones coffee labels from the boxes, that's what I did. I wet them completely down and let them fall apart. Basically, they just fall apart once they're wet enough, and then you can use them. You just have to dry them. It doesn't take that long. Okay? This is from an avocado package, and it'll probably be a belly band, but I left this piece on here in case I decide to do a tuck, you know, or a flip out or something. I don't know. This is some Amazon packaging. It's like a double one, so it could be a double tuck. It could have a pocket here too. I don't know. So I just went through, grabbed a bunch of packaging. Always clean your packaging, guys, if you're using packaging from food and stuff. Clean it really well. Use soap and water if you can, if it's plastic. If you can't do that, I use alcohol pads, like a normal alcohol pad to clean them. Just make sure there's no, you know, things on there. You want clean stuff. So all my stuff is nice and clean. And then find something to back it on to sew it, and that just gives it stability. If you can't sew it, you don't have to sew it. You can glue it. If you do glue it, you're going to need to use the double stick tape. Regular glues will only hold it temporarily. They will not hold it permanently. So some oranges, a double pocket there. There's one I haven't sewn yet. Probably end up being a belly band or something. Some cookie wrappers. This is from a bag of cookies I cut down. It'll probably be a pocket. Probably going to cut it off and sew it down to something. But, you know. Potatoes. These little parts here can work as like the things on the end of a tag. You know, like if you have a tag and you put a hole in it and you want to thread something through there, you can cut a piece of this off. Use that. So this is one I actually tried to paint. It's kind of a fail, but it's not horrible. So it's on a paper bag, grocery bag, and it has an old book page and then some watercolors that I attempted to do some poppies on. I haven't watercolored in forever, guys. So you may see me do some painting on this one. I plan to do another one of some sort, so I'll try to do some painting here and there. But this will be maybe a journaling card, I don't know, something. More wrappers I haven't done anything with. This is book pages, so I went through an old book. This was actually an old school book. The little abridged, is that what you call it? Sorry, it froze there for a second. It had the little like abridged versions of stories, and so I went through the ones with yellow tabs. I've scanned to make sure that there was no bad language or anything on there I didn't want, and then I'll either coffee dye them or not. You don't have to, but book pages are great, especially if you have like old school books like me. I homeschooled for 18 years, so I have tons of books. That's more from that calendar thing. This is also from that calendar thing. I tried to watercolor it with some of the Tim Holtz watercolors. Just save all the packaging because it'll work good for whatever, backing. Here's one. I'm going to paint on this later. It's just a pocket we'll do something with. Sometimes when you get these Amazon packages, they're crimped like this. And they're not sealed like this. So I think they just have like a piece of long roll of paper and then they heat crimp it to the size they want. When you get those, they're not square. They're usually a weird shape, and then it's just kind of torn off and crimped wherever. I don't get them a lot, but every now and then I do get those. So that's what this one's from. And then I like to take that stuff, and what I did is I cut off that crimping. And so this, you see it? I don't know if you can see it in the camera. It's like this real interesting texture. So I thought that would be great for putting on the end of a tag or on the edge of a paper, something, I don't know. So I'm just giving y'all ideas in case you want to start gathering stuff to do this with me, so you have an idea where to start. Of course, calendar images are always great. I like to cover mine with matte medium so they're not shiny. It's not necessary. You don't have to. I just like it to look less shiny, okay? This one, it's still a little shiny in camera. It's not as shiny in person. This one is less shiny than this one. See how shiny that is? This one has the matte medium on it. And it dulls down that shine so that it looks a little bit better. I've got a whole video on that somewhere. I think it's called Taking the Shine Off of Magazine Images is what I think it's called. It's in my YouTube videos. For those that don't know, my YouTube channel is exactly the same name as my Facebook channel. It's Elisa's Art Room. It's easy to find. It's probably also in my disclosure, which is on my Facebook page. This is another magazine image that I folded. So it started out, you know, like these. And what I did, because the picture itself wasn't big enough to go all the way across. So for that one, I did it like this, and I folded it, and then I glued the two ends together on the back. And that can be used as a page along with some sort of a attachment in the middle. Okay, it could be pages. A couple of these have matte medium on them, so they're not quite so shiny. This one has matte medium. There's one in here that does not. This one does not have matte medium. So you can kind of see. I guess you can see the difference. I don't know. I think you can. It's much. It just takes that shine down. And you don't have to. This is totally optional. I mean, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Some people it doesn't bug. I don't know. I like it better without the shine. But a lot of these I haven't done it because it just takes too long. So this is a calendar image, and I painted the back of it with and a sponge. I prefer using a sponge because it does, it doesn't leave the lines as much. So I just dab it on with this, like a sea sponge. Here's a little version, but a sea sponge. And so that's painted. That's going to be a page, maybe. I haven't decided. I just got some stuff ready. A lot of it's, like I said, I have a lot of nature. Some of these I did in black. I have lighthouses. I have beach scenes. That tends to be my calendars. This was off one of my nature calendars. And it's a pretty little hummingbird. And I backed it onto some sort of scrap paper. And I took some dragonfly glaze. Do you guys know what dragonfly glaze is? I know some of you do. Dragonfly glaze. Is that what it's called? Yeah, dragonfly glaze. I put some of that on there. Isn't that pretty? No, it's all sparkly. So, probably throw that somewhere. So, the bag that I got the cover from is one of those open, like a dog food sack, or I don't know, if you have a farm, like a grain. Sorry, it froze again. Like a grain sack or something. I don't know. But it always has this type of a top with this string. Okay? So I pulled off the string, and the typical way you pull it off, it's always a pain. I don't know why. I can never get them to pull off perfectly. And I usually futz with them forever, trying to get them to do the little pull thingy. Because they're supposed to just pull. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. I'm just not good at it or something. But when you get it to work and it actually pulls the whole piece off, I'm not going to get it right now. It's not feeding through right. I'm on the wrong side or something. All right. Anyway, when you get it to work, you end up with this long piece, which I have here somewhere. Let me see if it's here. Like I said, I have a bunch of stuff. I have so much. Homemade papers. I made these a couple years back. Some I made longer than that. Some I made with my kids. But homemade papers, because you're just using stuff out of, if you're like me, you're using it out of your shredding. And you're mulching it up and reusing it. So that's recyclable. That's good. Let's see if I see that piece. Is that it? There it is. No, that's not it. Same material though. I probably won't be able to find it. I saved it because it will be good for sealing things that need extra protection. You know, like gluing two pieces together or whatever. Oh my goodness, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. It's all the way across the room. Here it is. Okay, so that's from the top of the bag. And it's almost like fabric-y. So save that, because that could be good like for putting two pages together or something like that. It's got a good texture and it's nice and sturdy. So I saved that. The string, I actually saved all the string that I pulled off of mine, and I dyed it. So I've got, it's not a bunch because I only had the one bag. Because I've been throwing them away. Wasteful. So I've got some blue and some brown. And what was supposed to be black, but it doesn't really look black. But anyway. So string, this could be used for if you're doing a hand sewing, like if you want to do a little bit of embroidery or cross stitch on there, or if you want to use it for, you know, just some texture behind something. But I thought that would be fun. So that's repurposing just string. You know, you can repurpose so much stuff, guys. This is from some sort of a gift bag. It's got that same kind of a texture as that. And then, of course, calendar bits. More packaging. These are good for just tag backers. It says a cool window, you know, something can peek through there when we use that. I found this distress ad in my scrapbook, scrapbook magazine. I don't remember what it's called. I get it from scrapbook.com. I found some pretty ones from that. I thought that was cool. There's another one too. This is cool. Sometimes I just pick things out of the magazines that are colorful because you can use them for collaging or whatever. This is more Amazon packaging, some paper bags that I cut into pages. So this was a Whole Foods bag. That's going to be a page. I folded it up for a pocket. A lot of this is pages. We'll deal with the pages when we come back. This is an old piece of craft that I had painted on and I was using for, you know, to cover my table. And it's 2 pieces, I think. And I just glued them together. So now it's a page. You know, sticker backing. I don't know. I'll try and find new stuff. Of course, envelopes. Save all your envelopes because cool windows. You can make peekaboo windows. You can make flip outs. You can make specimen cards. Your spaghetti bags, you know, from Rotini. Straw. Anything that's got these acrylic windows. Fun for making peekaboo windows. Tea bags for pockets. Make little teeny pockets. If you get some candy for Valentine's Day, save all of your packaging. There's usually 2 or 3 layers. Usually one's like a tissue and then like a perforated. Save those. You can color them. They're great. Yeah. This I thought I might use just this black part to do a collage or something. This is super pretty. Look how pretty that is. Some sort of stamps. So a lot of this is just going to be background stuff. But you get the idea. Save all kinds of things. Receipts, of course. Tea packages. So a lot of tea packages have pretty insides. You don't usually know till you open them up, but a lot of them do. This is the choice one. I think this is probably from Sprouts. And look at that pretty inside. Do something with that. This is just craft paper that's been crunched and glued with some matte medium to give it a leathery feel. More candy wrapper paper, you know, chocolates, envelopes, and of course maps, old maps. Go through, find some old maps that are either falling apart. This is from a really old photo album thing I had. I don't even know what it was from. Different tags, you know. They may not be anything you want necessarily to show, but sometimes the shapes are cool. You know, like that's just a cool shape. I'll use it for something. Candy wrapper. Cancer awareness. Make a nice little tag out of that. I think this was pantyhose. I sanded it so it's not on there anymore. Lemon candy. Tea bags. Or tea. This was loose leaf tea. You know, it's a package. More loose leaf tea, say the other side of it or something. Anything else? Even my True Green package from them coming out. It's a little pocket. I'm sure I can do something with it. Your little cards that they include in all the magazines. Save those. You can coffee dye them. They're great backers. And it is 11 o'clock, guys. All right, but other than maps, I think we got to most of what I have. Nippers, calendars, a lot of calendar stuff in here. Okay, so that's what we got. Hopefully I've got enough. I should have enough. Got a bunch of stuff. I have a bunch. And we will get to making this. So next one will be on, gosh, what is today? Is it Wednesday? I think today's Wednesday. So I'll be back Friday, assuming today's Wednesday. And we'll figure out pages. Okay, so we'll get our signatures put together. I'll probably do 3 signatures with maybe 5 to 7 pages each, because I have a feeling a lot of it's going to be bulky. I don't want to go too many pages because it'll get too bulky. So it fit in here before. It's not going to fit back in here. That's okay. We'll figure it out later. But you get the idea. So save your stuff. Join me, make a fun junk journal. Junky junk journal. All right, guys. So we got our cover and we are ready for our next session. I will see you guys on Friday. Y'all take care Have a wonderful rest of your evening. All right, bye-bye.